What is going on, everybody? This is Gabriel Jones giving you a drop of sun any chance I get. And today we have a brand new album from Mitski called The Land is Inhospitable and So Are We. A very lengthy title, I gotta say. This video is going to be pretty significant to record because the first album reaction I recorded in this apartment was to Mitski's Laurel Hell. I went into that record not having a clue of what her style is all about, and I still don't know much about her if I'm being honest. I know that she's extremely artsy and has a dreary sound to her music, but that's as far as my knowledge goes. So we have another challenge on our hands. As my time in this apartment winds down, why don't we take a listen to the first artist that I've covered in it. Before we get started though, I want to advise everyone to leave a like and comment for this video because the more engagement the video receives, the more likely YouTube will pick it up in the algorithm, so I thank y'all for that. Also, be sure to subscribe and hit the bell because I could use all the support in the world and it will put a huge smile on my face. And now we get into The Land is Inhospitable and So Are We. We got it on the first try. Track number 1, Bug Like an Angel. Okay. We got this low registered acoustic guitar. Feeling pretty solemn. Story of my life. Story of my life, Mitski. Wow. That choir just so powerful, it just rushed at me. Life advice, like you always got to live up to your promises because people will not be thrilled if you can't live up to them. Kind of like those pianos right there, you know, feeling a little distorted. There is something quite heavenly about this, like very darkenly heavenly. That's a new term I invented. Alright, so Bug Like an Angel. That song is a pretty sort of dark, subdued song to open the record with. Nothing incredibly fancy. It's mostly Mitski playing her acoustic guitar while singing these lyrics, and occasionally we'll see a choir just come right at us. Yeah, the choir felt really intense for sure. If I were to guess the meaning of this song at first glance without looking at annotations, I think it might be about some life regrets Mitski has, like how she wasn't able to live up to certain promises and how that's really come back to bite her, and perhaps she's just here wallowing about her life's regrets. Perhaps that's where the drinking comes from because she's just here wishing that she could have done certain things better. That seems to be what the song is supposed to be about, and I'm hoping that I was very accurate. I like the echo that Mitski's voice projects, and of course there's a lot of symbolism to dig into. But yeah, at first glance, I think this is a pretty decent song to open an album with. Track number 2, Buffalo Replaced. Ooh, yeah, there's a little bit more grit to this one, you know, it feels really dirty. I think I know what she's talking about. I really kind of like these thumping drums, you know, like you're really authentic. Ooh, those little keys descending right there. Nice little detail. I really like how it ascends. Perfect for concerts. Buffalo Replaced. Alright, so that song has some interesting imagery going on with it. I really like the scene that she's able to paint by talking about the flies and the fireflies, the outdoor setting. She keeps emphasizing the freight train that comes by. Like maybe that's supposed to emphasize how the land has developed so much throughout the years that it replaced Buffalo. At a first glance, this seems to be a song about Mitski adjusting to a new living area and really getting a feel for what it's like. Perhaps she's adjusting to a new experience, and this song is her trying to, like, you know, really, like, get into that spirit. I really like the thumping drums and the acoustic guitars. The descending piano keys, that was also a really nice touch. It really does feel like you're in an outdoors environment, just making up this music as you go along. Yeah, some pretty decent stuff, I gotta say. Track number 3, Heaven. Really has, like, a country sort of vibe to it. Her delicate voice right there. She knows how to hold a note. And the little violin right there. I like that. See, it's that, like, imagery, like, filled with nature that she's really able to put together so well. Ooh, yes! I love this orchestral section. This is really good. Okay, now it feels like she's actually ascending to heaven at this point. Her spirit is being raised to the clouds. Ooh, little fluttery flutes right there. Oh, nice little touch. Okay, so that was Heaven, and yeah, this one is definitely the most interesting track so far. It has a very classic sound to it, something you would hear in a movie from like the 1930s or something. It's very old-timey for its musical production. I really like the violin that really stands out to me, and the fluttery flute towards the end. The pianos are also a really nice touch, like they do a lot to carry the song. My guess to the meaning of this song is that Mitski is singing about a partner that she used to live with, but now they've passed away and moved on to heaven. Mitski is waiting for the day where she can also meet with them again and spend the rest of eternity with each other. And it's almost like the outro for the song is an indication of that, where she finally is able to move on to another life, if you know what I mean. Me personally, I don't really like to think about death that much, like what happens after we pass away, like what happens to our souls, like do we just see darkness, or do we actually go up to heaven or to hell, just spending an eternity in either place, or maybe even purgatory. I do really like how the song sounds like it's from an era from long ago, and yeah, I think for that, it's probably my favorite so far. Track number 4, I Don't Like My Mind. Yeah, because like those intrusive thoughts can get to you, like for real. Story of my life, I always like to blur the aces whenever I don't want to think about anything. Alright, this song also kind of has like an old-timey feel to it, like something from like the early 20th century. I mean, she's excellent at singing, like damn girl. That country guitar right there. Sounded like a country song. I Don't Like My Mind. Okay, so yeah, it sounds like we have like another classic tune on our hands. Mitski is constructing a song that sounds like something from a very long ago era. This time she seems to be singing about dealing with anxiety, you know, she constantly gets stuck in her brain, and those thoughts just constantly like find their way out. She can't stay in a room by herself or else those thoughts just take control of her. And it sounds like she also might be stress eating, like she sings about eating a whole cake on Christmas Day. And she says, please don't take this job away from me, almost as if she just wants to like keep stress eating or something. The way she just belts all these notes, like you could tell that she's like really wallowing in her own misery. She's able to convey that depression so well, and honestly I give her props for that. It's short, it's simple, I Don't Like My Mind has some stuff going on with it, and I appreciate it. Track number 5, The Deal. Sounds pretty like, you know, anxious, you know, in a way. Ooh. We're just crescendoing a little bit. Oh my god. Sounds incredibly epic right now, you know, with the acoustic instrumentation. I hate being alone at night. Ooh, the drums just kind of sneaking up on us a little bit, entering the music. Ooh, yes! We're just getting to the climax, baby. Let's go! Okay, so that was The Deal. This might be one of the darker songs on the entire album. Mitski doesn't seem to be thrilled with the life that she's obtained, the life that she's lived, and so she's just begging for someone to just take her soul out of her body. She's going on a walk around midnight, you know, all alone. She's by herself, and I guess she's looking up to some god, you know, asking for her soul to be pulled from her body. And I guess the spiritual journey was a success because she said, I made the deal by the end. She definitely does a good job at portraying that journey because the way the drums become so chaotic towards the end, you know, just really like makes it feel as if you're just in a state of hypnosis, you know? It's almost like you're on psychedelics to a certain degree. I also like the touch of violins and the way that she's really able to sell that emotion with her voice. I love the way that she holds her notes, I'm being honest, totally. And yeah, that seems to be what's going on with this song. It might be a little bit of an eerie listen once I come back to it, but it has some neat little tricks. Track number 6, When Memories Snow. Yeah, sometimes you have to like fight your brain in a way in order to like really get through the day. Ooh, yes! Those violins just really doing some work there. And now we get the drums coming in. Oh my god, we are just in chaotic mode. If I break, could I go on break? Ooh, I like the way she does the little wordplay right there. The descending violins right there. Ooh, yes. Alright, so that is When Memories Snow, and yeah, this one I think has a lot of cool artistry going on with it. Obviously, she's setting the song during winter time, where it feels as if winter is the season of death. It's not exactly a happy season for many, but it seems as if Mitski is really having a hard time with it, especially. She finds it hard to get through the day with all these intrusive thoughts going around in her brain, and even when she's trying to sleep, they just keep her up at night. She's looking for a time to relax, just take time off for herself so she could like organize all these little thoughts and perhaps even reach a satisfactory conclusion for herself. And it seems that she's really portraying that as a huge struggle, you know, not the least because of the chaotic instrumentation that we get towards the second half of the song. We get a few pianos here and there, but then the drums and the violins just come in and just make a mess out of everything. It's almost as if we're in a blizzard of some kind, you know? That's how the memories are really coming down. It's an interesting song, I gotta say. I think this one really stands out to me, even though it's pretty short. Yeah, some great work, I gotta say. Track number 7, My Love Mine, All Mine. Ooh, I like the cymbal tapping for this one. It's always pleasing when you have a good moonlight shining down on you. You know, you can easily see your way. Oh, I love that beautiful imagery, you know. This one is just so relaxing with its mood. Almost makes me want to plop myself on the bed. I like a little vocal melody right there on the second verse. That vocal delivery right there. She knows how to work it. Okay, so that was My Love Mine, All Mine. This is easily the more calming and relaxing tune on the whole LP. And this seems to be a song where she's saying, when I die, you know, could my heart join you high up in the sky, old dear moon, you know? Because the moon is sort of like meant to resemble relaxation, it's meant to resemble reassurance, and she's hoping that the moon, for all of its guidance and whatnot, could one day join her heart high up in the atmosphere. She wants her loved one to really feel her love once she has passed on and has moved on to another life. You know, that's what the annotation says, but it does make the song a lot more clear to understand. And I just love how the song is constructed too. Like, you know, it has like a real jazzy sort of R&B element to it. We've listened to Mitski experiment with a few different genres on this album so far, like classical music and country music. Now it seems to be like jazz music. There's a lot of variety that this LP has to offer, and I appreciate that. So far, I think My Love Mine, All Mine is one of my favorites. I honestly can't wait to listen to it again. It's that good. Track number 8, The Frost. Okay, we got a little bit of country going on once more, you know, mixed with some old-timey pop tunes. Of course, if you're going to sing long, you make sure that you hold the note for as long as possible. I'm sure she would do great on The Last Man on Earth. So this possibly is about a friend that passed away. She's just singing the blues to herself now. Huh. Okay, so that was The Frost, and yeah, another really depressing song, I gotta say. This one seems to be about Mitski coping with the loss of a best friend. You know, they really were, like, inseparable, but it seems like they've passed on, and now she's just left by herself. She has no one to create new memories with, and now she's just here alone in this house. The easy interpretation is that the frost is meant to symbolize how the world has become a lot colder and more lonely now that this friend has died. And yeah, the way that she describes the frost as dust, you know, it's almost like, oh, there was some sort of apocalypse and now everything is so dusty and ashy. But in this case, it's all just frost and ice. Again, I really like how it's like this old-timey sort of classical tune that you would have heard from like decades ago. I really think the guitar does some wonderful work on this song. It really captures her crestfallenness, if you would say. Yeah, some really great work from Mitski once again, and this song is going to be a huge, huge heartbreaker to revisit. Track number 9, Star. Just kind of wrapping yourself up in a warm memory. Love that feeling. Yeah, you always gotta catch those shooting stars at the right moments, or else they just miss you. Aw, I actually really like that, you know? Ooh! Now I'm a star, just raising up to the sky, because that beat was really getting to me. Jesus Christ, it's like we're just launching up to space. And now we're just kind of descending back down to Earth after experiencing such a high. Okay, Star. Yeah, that song was really, really something. Like, it was just super shiny. The message here is pretty straightforward. Mitski is singing about someone that she used to have a close relationship with, but it seems like they've drifted apart. And she's singing about how I really want to capture those memories again. I want to relive them as much as possible. It's kind of like a shooting star, you know, it's very fleeting, but it's very shiny and beautiful, and if you're able to catch it, you know, it's totally worth it. The way she just makes the listener feel as if they're elevating towards space like a real star is just something to marvel at. At first the song sounded very quiet, like I could barely hear it, but the way it just got louder and louder and louder, oh my god, yo, that really got me out of my seat. Like, we were all embracing our inner Neil Armstrong, like, for real. It was just insane. This song is gonna be a joy to revisit. I'm telling you right now. Oh boy. Track number 10, I'm Your Man. Okay, we got a little bit of an acoustic guitar going on here. That line sounds a little intimidating, I'm not gonna lie. Her emotions are really intensifying at this point. Ooh. Ooh, yes. Really enhancing the guitar at this point. Oh, now we're listening to some audio footage of a dog just wandering throughout the neighborhood. It's almost like this pack of dogs is just chasing after me, you know? And like, I'm just trying to stay alive, not trying to get bitten, you know? And this choir, too, is just becoming extremely haunting, you know? Okay, so that was I'm Your Man. And that song kind of got a little dark, if I'm being honest. Mitski is singing about how she didn't appreciate her lover as much as she should have, and now she's thinking to herself, like, well, if I don't have this person in my life anymore, like, do I even deserve to live? It's kind of a dark question to ask yourself, because it's like, I mean, I'm sure you could carry on without this partner in your life, but, like, don't, like, try to be so hard on yourself, you know? That audio recording towards the end, it's almost like her just, like, throwing herself out to the pack of dogs, just ready to be torn apart limb from limb. At least that's what I believe the audio recording is meant to symbolize. I know that the song sort of emphasizes how this partner sort of looked up to her as if she was some sort of master. So perhaps she's asking herself, well, if I no longer have anyone that looks up to me, like, what purpose do I have in life, you know? I'm supposed to be a dog's purpose. And what other role do I have to fulfill? That seems to be my best interpretation of what's going on here, what the dogs are supposed to symbolize. I do also like the production that goes on over here in this song, where, you know, they have the beating drums, you know, that are supposed to be very ominous. The choir becomes extremely scary. Like, oh my god, like the way they sort of sing those notes towards the end kind of got me, you know, just shriveling up a little bit. Yeah, once again, we have some very neat production going on here from Mitski. But now, I think it's time we take a listen to how she closes this album with a very long title. Track number 11, I Love Me After You. Okay, already I'm getting the sense that it's going to be very anthemic. I guess she must be getting ready for bed. Okay, now elevating the music. Here we go. Okay, now we're getting into some experimental rock. Just going really hard at the moment. Ooh, just, you gotta adore that cymbal work, like, for real. And there we go. The final notes for this album. Alright, so that was I Love Me After You. This has some lyrical content that I might have a bit of difficulty interpreting. She's talking about walking around the house completely nude, and her hair is all brushed, but, you know, it doesn't seem like she's taking care of herself that well. So it looks like the song is supposed to symbolize how now that her partner's out of her life, you know, she's able to really elevate and really, like, you know, think of herself first. Mitski's super ego comes before her ego. She's really able to embrace her anxieties and depressive thoughts and really become a complete person. That seems to be what I'm getting from this song. I would love some corrections if you guys can give them. But yeah, that seems to be what's going on with this entire tune, this closing tune. I really like how experimental it gets towards the end, where it really goes epic mode with the rock. Like, let me tell you, that might sound really good at concerts. Her gentle singing is wonderful as always, especially with the guitars and the pianos. Yeah, this is some really good work, I gotta say. So with that, I'm gonna take a break. I'll come back later once I've listened to the album a second time, and I'll give you my final thoughts then, so bear with me. Alright, I am back, and I'm ready to give you my final thoughts on Mitski's The Land is Inhospitable, and So Are We. For this video, I decided to revisit Laurel Hell to regain an idea of Mitski's craft, and if I'm being frank, I wasn't super into it. While I can tell it took a lot of effort, there were only a few tracks that I found to be memorable, those being Heat Lightning and Should Have Been Me. But when it came to Land is Inhospitable, I found myself getting into the material way better. A major theme of this album is loneliness, and Mitski trying to make her way through life all by herself, especially after the loss of a loved one. She begs to the heavens to take her soul away, but to no avail. She also finds it hard to battle the demons inside her brain, for they always find a way to creep up on her when she's not looking. But in the end, she's able to accept those negative feelings as a part of herself, and uses them to propel herself throughout the rest of her own life. I also enjoyed how much this album is in touch with nature. Mitski sings about walking through the field, watching the snow and frost, looking up at the sky to see the stars, and even talking to the moon at midnight. It gives the record a real woodsy atmosphere. This album sees a ton of acoustic jams, which rely on the guitar and Mitski's delicate singing voice. But I'm also impressed by how it can switch up the genre every now and then. We hear country, classic pop, jazz and blues, and some rock to finish it off. I've struggled to get into Mitski a fair bit, but this album really is helping me understand her. My favorite tracks would have to be When Memories Snow, Star, and My Love, Mine, All Mine. My least favorite tracks would have to be Buffalo Replaced, Heaven, and I Love Me After You. And that just about does it. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this album reaction. I had a fair bit of fun with this one. I hope you did too. Like, I've been really trying to get into Mitski, and I think I'm on my way now. If you want to follow me on social media, be sure to check out my Blue Sky, my Twitter, my Twitch, and my TikTok. Links will be in the description. And that just about does it for today. My name is Gabriel Jones, and the sun may be setting, but I hope you were able to soak up those drops. Take care.